Nanjing is the capital of Jiangsu province. It is the city full of beautiful scenery as well as delicious food. Today, we will appreciate the beautiful scenery, taste the delicious food, and feel the charm of Nanjing. The spring in Nanjing is full of beautiful flowers after the chill of spring. The fragrance of the whole city is the blooming spring and the endless poetry. Please follow my footsteps and walk along the gurgling water of Qinhuai River into the spring of Nanjing. Speaking of spring in Nanjing, Jiming Temple has to be mentioned. As one of Nanjing's iconic attractions, the cherry blossom avenue of Jiming Temple is a must-see scenery in Nanjing. Jiming Temple is like the guardian of Jinling City. In the red-yellow walls, Buddha statues and candles are waiting in the quiet temple. The spiritual washing brought by the pious chanting is probably the beautiful wishes of Jiming Temple to the world. On the cherry blossom road from Jiming Temple to Heping Gate, the lush cherry trees are as pink as clouds. The breeze blows across the cherry blossom avenue, and the petals fall slowly, bringing the vitality of spring to complement each other with the yellow ancient Jiming Temple not far away. Here, Chinese people's pursuit of Zen is full displayed. Zen is not only a philosophy of life, but also a wisdom. It is not only a fusion of all rivers running into the sea, but also an innovation of culture in China, with endless applications. I believe you have a certain understanding of Jiming Temple and Chinese Zen culture through the introduction just now. In Nanjing, beautiful scenery and food are always inseparable. Jiming Temple is not only one of the landmark scenic spots in Nanjing. Jiming Temple's vegetarian food has always been sought after as a unique delicacy. Just now, we enjoyed the beautiful scenery of Jiming Temple. Next, I will show you the taste of Jiming Temple's vegetarian food. The main ingredients of this dish are bitter gourd and Chinese wolfberries. The bitterness of bitter gourd and the sweetness of Chinese wolfberries coincide with the name of the dish. It is a pun that allows dinners to taste the experience, the Zen culture. The vegetarian food in Jiming Temple may be different from the taste of vegetarian food you everyone impression. Most of the vegetarian food we usually have is vegetables and fruits. However, the major feature of Jiming Temple's vegetarian food is that it can make the vegetarian food into the taste of meat and even seafood. Laomendong is located to the east of Zhonghua Gate in Nanjing's Qinhuai district. Lao means old, and Mendong stands for the east of Nanjing's South Gate. In ancient times, Laomendong was an important trade center where merchants converged, qualified personnel, and cultural relics gathered, presenting a prosperous scene. After the end of Qing Dynasty, Laomendong gradually became a residential-oriented area, showing the unique style of traditional residences. Today, Laomendong have both prosperous trade and a simple life, continuing the ancient history. The memorial arch with patterns and carvings erectly stands on the northeast side of Laomendong, as if to represent the site indifferent from the modern city. Inside Laomendong, all the gray bricks, wooden doors and windows, pitched roofs give people a classical atmosphere. There are many shops run along the street, where nearby residents and visitors from far away come during the day for a meal and to buy some objects like folding fans or pouches to decorate their lives. The old who sells paper cuts also comes out, using a pair of scissors and a carving knife to cut out various shapes on paper, expressing his expectations and blessing for life. In the tea house, customers drink tea and listen to the Nanjing commentary, while performers telling the audience exciting stories with a folding fan. A piece of stunning wood and great oration skills. On the other side of the business and entertainment district is the residential area, where it's much quieter, with only the sounds of laundry, cooking, and the chatting of family and friends. We just said that people in Nanjing like to drink tea and have fun in Laomendong. As we all know, Chinese like drinking tea. So let's take a look at Chinese tea culture together. I'm sure that all of you have heard that Chinese love drinking tea. What kind of glamour does a small leaf have? Not only has it been loved by Chinese people for thousands of years, it has also become popular in the world out of China. Tea itself is a small shrub, and most of the tea we drink is made from the leaves of these shrubs. As a kind of drink, tea not only has a unique taste, but also has a health care effect. Moreover, studies have shown that drinking tea can reduce the risk of cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease, and at the same time help to improve immunity. Some types of tea can also have the effect of losing weight. Chinese people like to drink tea, and there are countless kinds of famous teas in China. So today, let me introduce the most representative tea in Nanjing, Yuhua tea, to all of you. Yuhua tea is a specialty of Nanjing and lists the top 10 tea of China. Yuhua tea is a kind of green tea with turquoise color, mellow taste, and sweet aftertaste. The production history of Yuhua tea is very long, which can be traced back to the Tang Dynasty. By the Qing Dynasty, the cultivation of Nanjing tea has expanded to the whole country.
雨花茶的制作工艺比较难，一般的制茶艺人没有3到5年的功夫是做不到像绣花针一样细的。采摘一般在清明节前后，采摘的茶叶为1芽1叶，长度在3厘米左右。采摘完回来需要摊晾一段时间。当锅温达到200度以上的时候，开始杀青，采用泡焖结合的方式去除水汽，同时经过杀青，钝化鲜叶活性，保持绿茶3绿的品质。然后通过揉捻，使茶叶达到紧条、圆条的效果。整形干燥是形成雨花茶独特外形的关键工序。经过此道工序，使茶叶紧、细、圆、直。最后通过抖、筛，把茶叶根据大小、粗细分类。
Yuhua tea was officially named in 1958 when many tea-making makers in Jiangsu province gathered local tea from Nanjing and made it after repeated improvement. It is finally made after steps such as rolling, shaping, and drying. Yuhua tea has many health care benefits such as anti-aging, weight loss, refreshing, and so on. It is a very pleasant experience to come to Nanjing, take a look at the enjoyable scenery, take a sip of Yuhua tea, and take a walk through the historic streets. He has left a strong and colorful mark in the history of the development of a new China, and he showed the right direction for the development of China. He was great Sun Yat-sen, the pioneer of China's democratic revolution. When Chinese nation was in danger, Dr. Sun gave up medicine and joined politics to let the light of democracy and the republic shine into the corrupt and dark Chinese society at that time. Then we will follow the video and visit the tomb of this great man. Sun Yat-sen was a great patriot. At the entrance, the plaque is engraved with the 2 words 博爱. and the 4 words, "The world is public," are engraved on the door of mausoleum, which concisely summarize the thoughts of Dr. Sun. From the plaque to the altar, we have to walk up 392 steps so that we can treasure today's happy life more and understand Dr. Sun's great achievements. From poor farmer to emperor, this is the extraordinary life of Zhu Yuanzhang, the founding emperor of China's Ming Dynasty. Under the rule of Zhu Yuanzhang, the great ancestor of the Ming Dynasty, who put down the rebellion and unified the whole country. The people lived in peace and the production developed. So he was the wise ruler of his generation. Then we will visit the tomb of this emperor and enjoy the wonderful moments of his life. Located under the Zijing Mountain, east of Zhongshan Mausoleum and south of Meihua Mountain, Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum is one of the largest imperial tombs in China and the only Ming imperial tomb in Nanjing. 2 rows of solemn statues of Wengzhong Road are guarding the Ming emperor who rested here. The site of Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum is exquisitely chosen, reflecting traditional architecture and decorative ideas, with a complete above-ground and underground architectural system, fine craftsmanship, and rigorous layout, reflecting the funeral system of Chinese feudal society. From the official histories, ritual, and other documents compiled over the ages, it is clear that China has always advocated Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum and regarded funeral rites as a very important aspect of the ritual system. The first group is the part of Shen Dao, starting from the Xia Ma Fang to the main gate of Xiaoling. The second group is the main part, from the main gate to Baocheng, Minglou, and Chongqiu. After passing through the main gate of Xiaoling Mausoleum, the Dajing Gate inside the city, there is a large stone beast carrying on a stone tablet with an inscription of 2,746 characters, describing the merits and virtues of the life of Zhu Yuanzhang, which is the largest one among the exciting stone monuments on the ground in Nanjing. 12 pairs of stone beasts are arranged from east to west on both sides of the divine path, after which the divine path goes to the north, with a pair of Huabiao in front of it, followed by 4 pairs of huge stone statues. The stone carvings are simple and vivid, which are important works of stone carvings in the early Ming Dynasty. The Hall of Xiaoling is located behind the Yubei Pavilion, which is one of the main buildings of the Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum. Minglou, as known as Fangcheng, is the last building of the Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum. Behind it is the Baocheng, a circular mound about 400 meters in diameter. This is the tomb of Zhu Yuanzhang and Empress Ma. It is one of the largest surviving tombs in China. A scholar once said, Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum represents the artistic achievement of royal architecture in the early Ming Dynasty and is the epitome of Chinese mausoleum architecture and mausoleum culture. With its grand and orderly overall layout, heavy and majestic architecture, the Ming Xiaoling Mausoleum unites the talents of politicians, artists, and architects of the time. We have just enjoyed the beauty of Nanjing in autumn. Then let's take a look at the autumn food together. Today, we are going to introduce a dish called cinnamon sugar taro seedlings. If we were to recommend Nanjing's autumn cuisine, cinnamon sugar taro seedling must be on the list. Cinnamon sugar taro seedlings, a famous traditional dessert in Nanjing, is a must-try Jinling snack when you come here. Autumn osmanthus is the sweet smell, and this is the season when taro is ripe. The fragrance of autumn osmanthus is melted into the sweet brown sugar and a soft taro paste, and the perfect fusion of brown sugar, lotus root powder, and the taro is sweet and soft, melting in your mouth and leaving an endless aftertaste. Eating sugar taro has become a custom in Nanjing. With a bowl of hot cinnamon sugar taro seedling in hand, let's board the panting boat again and walk along the Qinhuai River into the next season. Winter has arrived, but the bitter winter wind cannot blow away the unique charm of Nanjing. Let's step into the Fuzi Temple and experience the ancient atmosphere of Nanjing. Before that, I would like to ask you, do you know Confucius? What do you think of him? Let's walk into his world together next. Confucius is a representative figure of Confucian culture, and Confucianism was the most respected school in ancient China. The Confucian class have been used as part of assessment for the selection of officials over the ages, and the Temple of Confucius is an important place for worship of Confucius. The Temple of Confucius was built in the northern Song dynasty to worship Confucius, and since then it has become a holy place in China, combining education and worship of Confucius. attracting numerous families to live here and making Nanjing culture increasingly prosperous. The Fuzi Temple, as we see now, is a group of ancient buildings on a grand scale, consisting of three main complexes: the Temple of Confucius, the Palace of Learning, and the Tribute House, which covers an enormous area and is a characteristic landscape area of Nanjing.
南京夫子庙位于南京市秦淮区秦淮河北岸贡院街江南贡院以西，即南京孔庙、南京文庙、文宣王庙，为供奉祭祀孔子之地，中国四大文庙之一，是中国古代文化枢纽之地，金陵历史人文荟萃之地。夫子庙是一组规模宏大的古建筑群，主要由孔庙、学宫、贡院三大建筑群组成，有照壁、泮池、牌坊、聚星亭、魁星阁、棂星门、大成殿、明德堂、尊经阁等建筑。夫子庙始建于东晋成帝司马衍咸康3年，宋景佑元年改建为孔庙。在六朝至明清时期，世家大族多聚于附近，故有六朝金粉之说。范蠡、周瑜、王导、谢安、李白、杜牧、吴敬梓等数百位著名的军事家、政治家、文学家在这里创造了不朽的业绩，写下了千古传颂的篇章。
Confucius and his Confucianism were the object of study and reverence for Asian students, and so the resulting Confucian ritual became a major tradition in ancient times. Let's go into the Confucius temple to see the place and the form of this ritual. Ancient Chinese Confucian worship began from the Han Dynasty, and since the Confucian temples have been built in various places, making them the exclusive area for paying homage to Confucius in ancient times. During the Northern Song Dynasty, the Confucius Temple in Nanjing was built in front of the Palace of Learning in the hope that students would follow the ways of the sages and be educated. In front of the Confucius Temple, there is a shining wall, a lattice-work gate, and a pagoda forming the square in front of the temple, and entering through the Dacheng gate. The lower steps are the courtyard, with three monuments standing alongside each other in the east and west, and the two hipped halls on the left and right were dedicated to the tablets of the 72 sages of Confucius. In the middle is the Hall of Dacheng, with a terrace outside. In front of the hall, there are two halls connected to each other, originally dedicated to the 72 sages of Confucius and the great Confucian scholars of the past, as well as a place for storing sacrificial vessels, and now display more than 30 calligraphic tablets of today's celebrities. Inside the hall is a bronze statue of Confucius, flanked by Chinese white jade statues of the 12 disciples of Confucius. Well, everyone, we have just learned together about the historical origins of the Fuzi Temple. Everyone now knows that Confucius, as the representative of Confucianism, influenced not only the world of Chinese thought, but also the governance of the state of the selection of talents in ancient China, which is why he has been able to remain famous in Chinese history. You should remember from the video that the classical Confucian writings were to be used as the content of the examinations for the selection of officials in ancient China. Here, we are going to visit one of the landmarks of Fuzi Temple, Jiangnan Examination Office, to see the environment of the ancient examination for the imperial examinations. Jiangnan Examination Office is located in the east side of Fuzi Temple and was built in the Song Dynasty. It is the largest imperial examination hall in China and is called as the cradle of ancient Chinese officials. The imperial examination was a system of selecting officials through examinations in ancient China, which were extremely rigorous and generally held every 3 years, and only through various levels of selection could enter the ruling class. The Jiangnan Examination Office, as an important venue for imperial examination, is extremely well laid out and equipped. The main buildings include the Mingyuan Building, the No. 1 House, the Feihong Bridge, the Thorny Room, and the Underground Museum. The No. 1 House, where students were housed and fed for the examinations, is the best examination of the fairness of the imperial examination system, as students were allowed to take the examinations regardless of their family background. The Feihong Bridge and the Thorny Gates were built in ancient times to prevent cheating in the imperial examinations, while the Underground Museum displays the examination papers of some famous candidates who made it to the Jinbang and some of the best candidates of all times. After reading about the Confucius Temple and the Jiangnan Examination Office in Nanjing, I don't know how much your knowledge of Chinese history and culture has increased, but you must be more impressed with Nanjing, and if not, then the following food will surely make you feel better about Nanjing. Winter in Nanjing is cold, but with good food as a companion, people here don't find it hard. They enjoy it instead. Next, I will take you to Laomendong to see the specialties of Nanjing's cuisine and see the unique warmth of Nanjing in winter. The temperature in Nanjing in winter is mostly around 0 degrees, and the people wore thick cotton coats, but they still shivered in the cold wind. In the morning, the first rays of sunshine spilled over Laomendong, and the breakfast stalls were already busy. In the cold wind, people huddled their heads in their scarves and put their hands in their pockets just to be a little warmer. And it was only when they entered the shop selling soup buns that they took off their hats and coats and chatted happily with the people around them. The chef carefully placed the food in special dishes, adjusting the shapes and garnishing them to create a fine dish. The guests could not help but praise the dish as they watched it being brought to the table. The dried bean curd calamaris on the plates resembled a pine tree, and the careful presentation made you forget the original appearance of the vegetable. The squirrel and the cinnamon fish was not a squirrel and a fish, but the chef skillfully carved the fish to look like a squirrel. The chef's understanding and unique creations of Nanjing cuisine always surprise people and make Nanjing cuisine an unforgettable delicacy in the hearts of many customers. After watching the video, do you think Nanjing food is good? Is it the Chinese food you remember? Perhaps you may find Nanjing cuisine troublesome to prepare. But what is more important to the Chinese is the process of making the food and the surprised and satisfied expressions of the customers after the food is prepared, which is one of the reasons why Chinese cooking pursues artistry. The following, I will show you the dinner in Nanjing, which may not be the same as the lunch you just saw, so you can think about what the difference is as you watch the video. Dinner for people in Nanjing is less formal than lunch, but more leisurely and free. There are always many customers waiting for the plum pudding deep in the alleyways. The hexagonal molds are filled with plum pudding, white glutinous rice, green sultanas, and red dates, and the combination of foods make a small plum pudding even more colorful and varied in flavor. The stirred sweets are a favorite of children. 2 small wooden sticks wrapped in a ball of yellow sugar. When they buy them, the children love to keep using the sticks to stretch the sugar, and this process always brings them joy. 小镇 crispy baklava is widely acknowledged to be the cheapest treat, costing as little as 1 yuan and 50 cents. But the baklava is crispier and sweeter than other expensive treats. After eating these snacks, people slowly made their way home, and their busy and fulfilling day came to an end. Did everyone notice the difference? Yes, lunch is formal and sophisticated, but dinner is casual and relaxed. In the evening, people in Nanjing unload their studies for the day and just want to take their families for a walk along the street to enjoy this rare and relaxing time. And this is where one can feel the best of life, because with family, good food, and sunset, all worries disappear and only happiness remains. This is Nanjing, and this is Nanjing people. Well, everyone, now this is the end of our class about the main attraction and the tastes of Nanjing. I hope that the sights, food, and the culture of Nanjing have not only increased your knowledge of Chinese culture, but more importantly, have left a wonderful and deep impact on you, making you more interested in Chinese culture and more motivated to learn Chinese. That's all for today's lesson. See you later.